Hello everyone. In this session, we're going to see about various AWS region and availability zones and different type of storage and the storage available in AWS and demo on S3, EBS and AFS. Let's see about the region. Regions are nothing but geographical area in which the cloud service provider having their centers. This picture depicts the AWS regions. Presently, AWS having 24 region and 76 availability zones. All these AWS regions are connected by AWS backbone network by high-speed redundant transoceanic cables. So this is the way example for regions. In Virginia, having the code of US East 1, and for Mumbai, they having AP South 1, and for Singapore, they are having AP Southeast 1. So these are the example for regions. So now the question is, why so many regions? The reason is lower latency access to the application, regulatory compliance, like all the data should within the geographical regions, like GDPR rule, which means this is one of the rule in European countries that all the users using a particular application having their data should be inside their geographical regions only. So another one is disaster recovery. If they having only one region, suppose any disaster happen in that region, you can't able to use that site, right? So you need an alternative region so you can access that region if one region is trapped in any disaster. And the additional applications, suppose if you are hosting an application or website in the cloud platform, if you have a user from all over the world, if you are having so many regions, you can people can in different region can access your application, so it will lower the latency. So next one is cost benefit. For example, if I am running EC2 instance in Singapore, the cost I'm going to pay is much more higher than I'm going to pay if I using EC2 instance in Virginia. This is mainly because of the economy of the country. So cost benefits are there in the cloud service regions. So availability zones. Now the question is, why multiple zones inside the single region? The reason is same for the low latency. Let's see an example for an availability zones. This is Mumbai AP South 1, which is a region. They're having three zones inside the Mumbai, which is zone 1 containing AP South 1A, and then 2 zone 2 they're having AP South 1B, and in zone 3 they're having AP South 1C as a code. So why multiple zones? So if I'm using EC2 instance in an availability zone 1 in a Mumbai region, suppose any disaster happening in my availability zone 1, I will be switch over to availability zone 2. Why? Because all my data are synchronous replication in the availability zone 2, which is very useful for us. So this is all about the various regions and zones. See about different storage type: block storage, file storage and object storage. Before moving on to the storage type, let us see about some basic storages, that is ephemeral storage. In ephemeral storage, Amazon and Azure having their big data center. A person who is physically adding hard disk into the data center is called ephemeral storage. They're having very big space inside that, hence they divided into a virtual machines, and which is now using in cloud computing. Direct attached storage is nothing but we are having hard disk inside our laptop and used for storing files. They are very cheap and easy to use, but it is not shareable. If I want to share any of my files with my neighbor computer, it is not possible, and it is not used in cloud computing as well. Let us have a comparison between on-premise storage and AWS storage. In on-premise storage, I have to pay for the entire hard disk, even though I have used only 400 terabyte in it. But in AWS, I can only pay for the 400 terabyte I have used. Let us see about file storage. Using file storage since we started using PC, it is based on hierarchical model that is folder inside a folder. If I want to access any of my file from other device which is not possible in direct attached storage is resolved using a file storage by NAS, that is network access storage via LAN. Hence file storage is otherwise called NAS, that is network access storage. It is used for small and shared depository. The pros of the file storage is it is very cheap, file collaboration on team, centralized control on file network is available. The cons are no data replication. If I lost any of my file, it is not possible to retrieve it again. Hence, the performance affected by network traffic because it is connected via LAN network. And the second one is block storage. Let us see about block storage. In file storage, only few clients can access the file, but in block storage, more client can access even if the file is megabytes per second, which is controlled by storage area network. It cut the file into small pieces and store it in a different blocks. You can rewrite and edit the particular block you want. Since it has a lowest latency, it uses FiberNet cable which is 1000 megabits per second faster than LAN. The pros are high performance, highly scalable and shareable. The cons are it is expensive and complex. The next type is object storage type. It is preferred for storing objects like videos, files, etc. It stores metadata which is used for sorting purpose. The entire file is stored in a one repository. It is mainly opted for storing unstructured data. The main pros are it is highly scalable. These are the different storage types provided by the different companies. We are going to see about the storage provided by the AWS, that is EFS Elastic File Storage, EBS Elastic Block Storage and Simple Storage Service S3. Let us see about elastic file storage, which is similar to file storage we have seen before. It can be accessed by multiple users. It is scaled automatically, simultaneous read or write from multiple servers. Let us see an example. I am having a text file called zombio.txt. The three Amazon EC2 instance can access the text file and edit it simultaneously. It is pay what you use and it is based on network attached storage. Let us see about elastic block storage. Let me give an example. I am having a book called Zombia. I want to edit the third and fourth page of my book, which is not possible in object storage, but it is possible in block storage using parallel block operation. It is much faster because we can edit the particular block we want. Automation behind the scene. In file storage, we want to organize and split up our files, but in block storage, the SAN, that is storage area network, managed it. The default block size is 256 KB. That is each block containing 256 KB data. How can I access my block storage? You are having a server Amazon EC2 instance and you are having block storage, that is volume, and the text file called zombio.txt. If I want to put the text file, it is split and placed in a various blocks by the SAN. Let us see about S3, that is object storage. It is simple storage service. The storage through web service interface. It is highly scalable, available and durable. I am having a book called zombio.txt. If I want to update the book, I need to download the whole book and edit the part where I want and upload it fully. But it is possible using parallel upload, that is you can split the book into different parts and upload it parallelly in object storage type. User has to coordinate breaking into parts, calling API appropriately with parts, handle abort, etc. Each of the part containing 100 megabytes per second. So let us recall the difference between the all three storage services provided by AWS. So S3 can be accessed through internet. that is you can provide it with the URL of your object being object stored, and you can view the object through the URL. So in EBS we can access via EC2 only, because that is the added volume into the EC2. In Amazon EFS, which can be accessed via EC2 and other AWS services. S3 is an object storage type, and EBS is a block storage type, and EFS is a file storage type. S3 is scalable, because if you want to increase the size of, if you want to increase the size, you can increase it. That is, you can add the extra hard disk into it. EFS is also like that. S3 is slower than EBS and EFS. Why? Because you can upload the entire object in S3. You cannot upload the part by part, but you can parallelly upload the parts of the objects. So in EFS, you can split the parts of your objects being uploaded, that is your file being uploaded. So in EBS you can upload the files you want. It is entirely split and placed in a blocks by SAN. So EBS is very faster when compared to S3 and EFS, and also it uses a fiber cable, so it's much faster than other two storage types. This is all about the three storage types. So let us see a demo on these three storage types, that is EFS, EBS and S3. Let us see a demo on EFS. Go to AWS Management Console and select EFS. So inside EFS, you will find, this is the EFS page. You will find create file system and select it. It will ask for file name. You can give whatever name you want. I'm Once you given your name, the file is successfully created. It started creating. Your file is being created. Yes, your file is created. On EBS, we can access the EBS via two types. First one is we can create the volume while creating an EC2 instance, or else we can add the volume to the created EC2 instance. Let us create a volume while creating an EC2 instance itself. Go to EC2. Click on launch instance. I have selected Amazon Linux as a OS. The free tier eligibility instances already given. Then go next. I don't want to configure the instance. Go next. So here we can add the new volume. Add new volume. ABS. We need to note the two things in it. First one is the device. The root device is XVDA, and the created volume, that is we have added a new volume, that is SDB. Okay, and you can edit the size you want. I'm creating this for 4 GB only, so I'm typing 4, and you need not to select this delete on termination, because once you have delete the that is you have terminated the EC2 instance, the volume you have attached extra will be deleted as well. So you need not to check this box. So then click next, and review and launch your instance. So have a new keypad. I have downloaded the Keep app. It is downloaded and launch your instance. Your instance is being launched. It is launching. Then go to this link. Instance you have created and connect with it. Copy the public DNS. Open putty. We have created a volume and we need to create a file and mount the file into the volume. So that's we are going to see about. Open putty, paste the public DNS and select authentication, browse for the private key we have created and click open. You can type EC2 user because I'm using a Linux OS. So we need to know what are the devices available. So we need to type lsblk. So the xvda is a root file, that is a it's a root device. The xvdb is the additional file, that is additional disk we have added, additional volume, and the size is 4 GB. Okay, let us see where we are. Type pwd. We are in home. Okay, I'm going to create a new directory so that I can mount the directory into the volume I have created. So I have typed mkdir, giving name EBS2. I have created a directory. So you need to format the file system when you are using for a new, because when you have buy a hard disk, it is already formatted. So in on-premise case, so we need to format it. For that we need to type sudo file space there slash, that is nothing but xvdb. We need to format this, right? Sorry. It containing some data, right? See, we need to format it. So we type sudo mkfs space t. Since it is Linux, so we can give x4 space d xvdb, because we're going to format that disk only. So it is formatted. Once it is formatted, we need to check once again whether it is formatted or not. I'm checking once again. I'm typing sudo file s xvdb. Yeah, it is formatted. Okay, we have created a directory, right? We want to see whether the directory is created or not. For that we need to type a command ls space l as the creator directory is ebs2. We need to mount this created file directory into the volume we have created. For that we need to type sudo mount space dev slash where we can to mount this xvdb, right, and slash in home ec2 user, and the file name is ebs2. Yes, it is mounted. In this case, we have added a volume while we creating an instance. Let us see how to add a volume after creating an instance. Go to volume inside Elastic Block Storage. So click on create new volume. So and you have given a size. I have given a size of 2 GB. You have to select the availability zone as we have selected in creating EC2 instance. Then go to create volume and click on it. The volume is created. Once you have created the volume, you need to mount your volume. That is, you need to attach your volume to the EC2 instance. For that, select your volume. So this is 2 GB volume. This I have created. I have selected my volume. Then go to action, attach a volume. This is showing a running instance in US East 1. So this is the reason why we are saying that you can create a volume as in the same availability zone as the EC2 instance. Then click on attach. So after your volume is attached to your EC2 instance, it shows in use, you know. Okay, let us see how to create a file directory and add the file directory into the newly created volume. So next, so I'm typing EC2 user. Let us check what are the devices that are connected. For that, we need to type lsplk space p. So xvdb is the created volume in the first case, and we have created a file system and mounted it into the volume, right? We have newly created a volume that is called xvdf here. Let us see where we are and create a new directory as like in the same case. So I have created mkdir ec2 sorry ebs3 already in this file is exists, so I'm creating mkebs4. So I'm creating ebs4. So after creating the file, I need to check whether the file is existing or not. So that I type ls space l as the file is the existing files are listed out here. So I need to format the volume I have added, so that I need to check whether it is formatted or not. So I also type sudo file space s space slash dev slash xvdf, because the newly created volume is xvdf. It is containing data, so we need to format it. So I'm type sudo mkfs space t space it is Linux, so I'm typing x. We have to done the same thing like the previous case, but the only change is we need to type the volume name as xvdf, nothing but I have formatted it. And now we need to mount the created directory into the newly created volume. For that we need to type sudo mount space dev slash xvdf space slash home ec2 user, and the file directory name is ebs4. Yeah, I've only written some command. Mount space dev slash xvdf slash dev slash xvdf slash EBS formatted the created directory, and I have mounted the created directory into the newly created volume. Let us check whether it is mounted or not. For that we type lsblk space p. Yes, it is mounted. The xvdb is a created volume before. Xvdf is a newly created volume. Okay, let us see how to edit the volume size. Go to volume and select the volume you need to change. I am going to change the newly added volume from 2 GB to 4 GB. I need to select that and go to action and modify the volume. Here I'm typing 1. We can't reduce the size of the volume we have created, but we can only increase it. So I'm changing it from 8 GB because I have already have a 4 GB volume. So and click on modify and click on yes. Yes, it is modified. Now let us check whether it is modified or not. Go to putty and type lsblk. Yes, it is modified. The XVDF is a newly added volume, and I have changed the size from 2 GB to 8 GB. We need to check whether the added file system inside the volume have changed the size from 2 GB to 8 GB or not. For that, we need to type a command df space h. See, Dave, XVDF is a newly created volume, but the size was 2 GB as we have created formerly. So we need to change the size of the file system as well. File directory, I am typing sudo resize 2f dev /xvdf. After it is resized, I have checked whether it is resized or not. So I am typing df space h. It is resized. Dev /xvdf is the newly added volume. The file size is the mounted file size is also changed from 2 GB to 8 GB. See how to delete a volume. For deleting a volume, we need to unmount the file directory we have created before we deleting the volume. So let us see how to unmount. For that we need to type the code sudo umount space home /ec2 user / the name of the file, that is ebs3. Let me check the file name. I forgot the file name. So it is EBS2 and EC. The file name is EBS2. So let me check whether it is unmounted or not. You can see that the previously created volume was unmounted from the file system we have created. Let me unmount these file also. I am typing sudo so the file name is ec. Let me check once again. Yes, the newly created two volumes does not contain any file mounter. Okay, let us delete the volume we have created and go to the volume, select the volume you have created. This 4 GB and 2 GB are the created volume. Let me select that and delete the volumes. Yes, detach. You need to detach the volume first, that is connected to the EC2 instance. It is first detaching. Once it is detached, you can delete the volume. It will take some time to detach the volume from EC2 instance. It is detached. Let me delete this. Click yes, delete. Now the volume is deleted. This volume is EC2 instance. If I delete the EC2 instance, the volume delete as well. Go to instance state and terminate the instance. Your S3 bucket. Go to S3. Okay, then create bucket. So you need to give a name for your bucket. You can give whatever name you like. The block all public access is open. Then create bucket. Your bucket is created successfully. Click on the bucket you have created. I'm going to upload any of my picture into the bucket I have created. So I click on upload. Then go to add files. I'm selecting some of my pictures and then click upload. It started uploading. It will take some time to upload. It's uploaded successfully. Then click on the file you have uploaded. So here you will find a URL for the object you have put in the bucket. Copy that and paste it in a Google. It shows error. Why it's showing error? Because we deny the public access while creating our bucket, right? So that's why it's showing like that. Let me change this. To change that setting, go to your bucket and select the file you have uploaded and go to permissions. Here you can edit the block public access. Go to edit and unselect the box and save changes until confirmation messages came. I given confirm. Once you have edited the bucket, go to access point. There you can edit the access control and select the list and read for every public access. Then save the changes as well. Once you have changed all these settings, your object is visible to every public. Now go to your file uploader and click on the object action, make it public. So click on make public. Yes, it is done. Now refresh the page. Yes, this is the only way to access your file by making it public, or else you cannot able to see the file. How to delete the bucket we have created. First, delete the file we have uploaded. So click on delete. So it's a confirmation message. Go to the source. Select the bucket you have created. Delete the bucket. Type the name you have given while creating a bucket. And delete the bucket. This is all done.